Oops, a daisy. Just get that in focus. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you're like me, you're excited for the game tonight. We're going to take a look at another one of our rivals. We've looked at the Knicks, we've looked at the Hawks. Look at my last video and tell me how you would fix those franchises so that they can make the playoffs. Tonight, we're going to take a look at one of our rivals, the Washington Wizards. In the comments, tell me if you were the Washington Wizards GM, how would you fix this franchise? Who would you move? Who would you bring in? What do they need? On my channel, we look at the ins and outs, not just the stats. We want to look at the payroll. So we're going to take a look at the Wizards tonight, talk about how they've been winning, how they've been losing, how we're going to beat them tonight. Go Raptors. For the rest of this video is give you my 2 cents. Let's take a look at the Washington Wizards. So this is a team we need to beat. This game has major import for us. The Wizards are currently sitting in 8th. Now, I don't want Raptors fans to get worried about our position sitting in 10th right now because look at this graphic. Here is a list of the Raptors' games in hand. We have games in hand against every team above us. Now that does us no good if we don't string together some wins. This is a winnable game against the Wizards tonight, but it is not by any means a gimme. If I think of the Wizards, I think of their depth. And this depth came about because of a key trade in the offseason where Wizards upper brass sent Westbrook to the Lakers. They sent one of their number 1 picks that they got from the Lakers, Isaiah Jackson, to the Pacers, and they brought in Harrell, Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Dinwiddie from the Pacers, Holiday from the Pacers, and Isaiah Todd, who was the Pacers pick, came over as well, small forward with some upside. Now, they also drafted a key piece of their puzzle in Corey Kispert, and we're going to talk about him more in a few minutes. The Wizards also have no injuries to speak of. The Raptors go into this game with GT Jr. out, Kem Birch out for his nose surgery, and then Goran Dragic. Yes, if you don't remember him, he is our expiring contract that I still think the Raptors will be utilizing that money to keep themselves in a good financial position just below the luxury tax threshold. I expect to see Goran's contract used strategically, not to be bought out. But I've been wrong before. If you disagree and you think Goran's gonna get bought out, guys, I wanna know your logic. Why would we position ourselves so perfectly with the luxury tax threshold and then simply buy Goran out? Tell me in the comments. The only person the Wizards are actually missing is Wes Unseld Jr., their rookie coach this year, who has been amazing. And he comes from a major basketball family, as his dad was very involved at various levels of management in the NBA. Let's hear from interim coach Joseph Blair after their win against the Sixers the other night as to what won them the victory. And what you're going to hear here has to do with depth. And that's what the Wizards have in spades.
Really good team effort. Obviously, for me, it's a stressful time because I was kind of thrown in last minute for this and then just trying to figure things out on the fly. We didn't have any big, huge lulls during the game. When we did go down a little bit, we came back with the same efficient energy. And we had it's a team effort, team win. 7 guys in double figures. That's a great win for us. We can get a lot of guys involved. Everyone that came in contributed well. But it's good just to know that we have so many weapons and so many people can contribute. I mean, you look at even our bench scoring 15, 11, 11, 6, 18. I mean, that's a pretty powerful bench. And I think that's something we envisioned at the beginning of the season. And just see it beginning to come to fruition is a beautiful thing.
And that's just the point I want to make to you, is this depth is what the Wizards got in exchange for Westbrook. They've done an amazing job of building one of the best benches in the NBA, one of the deepest teams. They just have a great construction to their team. And I don't have to mention to you that they have one of the best scorers in the NBA in the form of Bradley Beal. So let's take a look at their roster here a little bit and talk about some of the things they can do depth-wise. So Beal, Dinwiddie, these guys can all score. Bertans can score. KCP can score. Kuzma can score. Harrell's a nightmare. And we have not faced them with Thomas Bryant yet. In the last game, we beat them by going straight at Harrell and Gafford to cause foul trouble for those guys. Now the Wizards can counter that by bringing in Bryant. They can have any one of those 3 big men on the floor at any time. They have youngsters Rui Hachimura, who we haven't really seen this year. Denny Abdia, who hasn't been getting the same minutes he used to be, and Bertans seems to be losing his spot to Corey Kispert, their 15th overall pick out of Gonzaga this year. Kispert is a great addition to their team. Ultimately, this team is just full of depth, guys, and we will have to deal with that. This is not a team that you can get into major trouble by going at them and causing fouls. Not only that, we need to match their offense. Take a look at the last couple games that they've played. Their wins have come from crappy teams, 2 against Orlando, 1 against OKC. Now they had a very close game, lost by 1 point to the Nets, lost by a couple points to Portland. They beat Philadelphia by a large margin, and Philly had their whole roster. They almost beat the Bulls twice. They lost both of the games against the Bulls. They lost to Houston, which they shouldn't be doing, but they beat Charlotte, they beat Cleveland, they came close to beating Miami. This is a team that can beat anyone in the NBA. So let's take a look at what they did well against Philly, and it's that depth that won the game. So we're gonna skip past. All I want you to notice here for Philly is that they had their lineup. Well, I mean, minus Ben Simmons. What I want you to notice here is look at the points and the minutes. It's super spread out. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in double-digit scoring to beat Philly. And look at this, the guy that does not play, coach's decision, is Davis Bertans. He could be a trade piece coming up. All right, so keep that in mind. And then the minutes are getting distributed. Look at Gafford with 4 fouls here. All they did was go to Bryant and Harrell. So as soon as one of these 3 big men gets in foul trouble, they just use the other 2. And they keep pressure on you. They can score in bunches. They can play defense. This is a solid team. This is the game against Charlotte that they played. And again, Charlotte is a running team. This is a team based on pace, one of the best paced teams in the NBA, and it's a team we're going to look at in the future to know our enemies. Suffice to say here, they've got some serious scorers that can run down the floor and a good balanced team. In this game, Washington actually closed its bench. Kuzma comes up big, Beal comes up big. They still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in double digits, and they did not have their whole lineup because they were in COVID protocols at the time. And then against Brooklyn, they literally lose by 1 point, guys. 1 point against Kyrie Irving and the Nets. You'll notice that Durant did not play in this game. They went with, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players, including 3 rookies. They have great rookies in the Nets organization with Kessler Everett, Day'Ron Sharpe, and Cam Thomas. All 3 very highly touted prospects. Great draft for them this year. But Kyrie had his best game of the season. Patty Mills, we know in Raptors land what Patty Mills can do to you, especially from 3-point. Look, he's 5 for 7. Oh my God. James Harden's back in. Aldridge had a huge game. But again, it's this balanced contributions from the Wizards that keeps them in games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in double digits. Contributions up and down the lineup, and they can compete with any team in the NBA in terms of this stuff. Raptors have games in hands, guys, but we are going to have to beat some of these teams in order to make things happen and secure our spot for the playoffs. And you know me, I want the playoffs. I want our ring bearers, Fred VanVleet, Spicy P, the Black Québécois, and our OG, our Sherpas. I want our Sherpas showing our kids how to go up that mountain this year to pass that torch from Kyle Lowry and show what championship culture and pedigree looks like to our young guys. I want the playoffs. I want to bump, grind, and get physical with some of these upper echelon teams that rely on 3 stars to win games. I want the Nets. I want the Nets. I want to bump and bruise the Nets. I want the Bucks. We're well suited to playing them. I want the playoffs. Doesn't matter if we win in 7 games. I just want it to go 6 or 7 games. That's major experience for our young guys. To get there, we got to put some of these teams, the Washington Wizards, out of our way. And we have games in hands to do so. This is a huge night for our Raptors tonight, guys. We've got to beat a really deep and healthy Washington Wizards club that is close in every game they play, because we will not get a billion chances to keep in the hunt here for a playoff spot or even a play-in spot. Enjoy the game tonight, guys. And remember, at the end of the day, everything we do is about the Larry. Kawhi, who you got tonight? Wizards or Raptors? Hey, I'm talking to you, mister.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
That's bullshit, Kawhi.
This is Chef's Kiss approved. Mwah!